Good evening, folks. Hope everybody's week is going well. We're out here at the Tuba River again for some more telescopic fishing. And the first thing I want to do before we hit the water is go over my hook inventory. Here, I need to make sure I've got some 16s. So I need to buy some 16s. Hey, Canadian, how's it going? And I also want to try a 2-aught hook because I have seen that 2-aughts are fairly effective out here against some of the larger buffalo and carp. So let's give that a shot. Go ahead and grab one of those and grab a couple 16s in case we want to go after some Shemaya. Go. Where are you fishing at? You out at the sea again, Canadian? Want to check. I have seen that there's a spot here that is supposed to be good for Shemaya, so I want to see if there's any out there. I got amber tonight, huh? I'm going after some good old-fashioned carp. I've seen a lot of carp come up in the in-game chat all day, so I guess it's probably pretty active. Alright, so leave the spot actually right over here near this fork in the river. I have had some luck over at this spot getting some small wild carp and a few buffalo, and I had some luck getting some big head carp along here. We've got those as options, but I want to just throw a few casts before the sun sets just to see if there's any Shemaya here. And if so, I will do some ultralight fishing for those throughout the daytime. Want mayfly with, I don't have any bug beetle larvae, unfortunately, but caddisfly should be. I need to buy some more of those as well, so to do some bloodworm on there. The biggest struggle I've been having out here on this body of water is finding the correct depth. Because there's a current, like if they're in a still area, you can just sort of throw a line out there and see if it hits the bottom, pull it back up, and tweak as you go. But with the current, it's a lot more difficult to pull that off. So I've been struggling to find the correct depth for, especially with like the carp rigs and stuff like that. I'm putting this at like 125. I don't have to really necessarily go to the bottom with if I'm going for Shemaya, but that's definitely been something I have been struggling with on this area. So it's a shame that the marker rod is not a universal tool and is locked behind pretty high ranking bottom fishing. I appreciate the follow there. It's a Cinti854. Welcome to the stream. How's it going? Right now I'm just it looks like it's, yeah, this spot's probably too deep for this line. I'm just testing a quick little area here out that I'm not expecting a whole lot out of. I'm just seeing if there's any Shemaya hitting the area before I go after some carp and buffalo. A little bit of a nibble there, but an eye on it here. I can hook you up with some garlic, though. I don't have any excess bring mix I can send, but should have some garlic though. Check. Baits, garlic dough. I've got things that are a little bit here. Are you the same name in game? On the line here, what we got? Looks like the grass is in the way. I can't quite tell what it is. Looks like a chub. Yep. Go. Not quite what we're looking for. I'm just checking to see if there's Shemaya here. If there's no Shemaya, I'm not too interested in sticking at the spot. Ah, got you there. Okay, so I'll do a little bit of garlic dough here. Yep, with 100 pieces of that. There you go. Yeah, it's been hard to find good active spots for Act 2, but I've been keeping an eye on the various discords for, you're welcome, sir. Keeping an eye on the various discords for anything out here, but most trophies I've been seeing lately, or most spots I've been seeing, are from the Sea, Amber, and Bear Lake. No one's going after the quote-unquote lesser lakes right now. Pulled up too soon. So my strategy has basically been trying to hit all the spots that are on this main island before I rent a boat and get some of those, because I can know around here and here I think are supposed to be pretty good spots for some things. I guess out here wouldn't be great for the telescopic, but there are some spots I want to hit further to the south eventually. Tonight's tea is raspberry pomegranate green tea, but it's a little too hot to drink right now. So Canadian, is the Amber, is the spot from the dock pretty active right now, or is it one of the further out spots that a telescopic can't reach? Well, I'm sticking on Act Tuba for a while here, but maybe out off camera I might head to Amber if it's active to get some nice silver action on. Well, I'm not really seeing evidence that the Shemaya are active here right now. So let's go ahead and pack up, and I'm gonna grab some more caddisfly larvae, and we'll head over to one of the buffalo and wild carp spots. Okay, yeah, there's basically there's like 2 spots on Amber where you can fish with telescopic effectively. If those spots aren't active, it's just like not even worth it for me. But the problem, the real problem there is because I don't have cobras unlocked and don't have spot rod or PVA. Even when I do go to the active spots with the right bait, it's still like terrible bite rate for me. All right, let's see. We gotta get caddisfly. There you are. Grab a nice batch of that. I think we're good on mayfly for now. Grab some bark beetle larvae in case we do come across a Shemaya spot. And grab another pack of wheat seeds because those have been pretty good for me. So this spot down here has been my most effective. I was having more luck with carp up in this northwestern section, but it was kind of, if the carp were hidden, those were good, but otherwise not very good. But at least the other spot is very active for gibble carp as well. The buffalo have been pretty decent. It's a shame the boat costs so much for this river, for this lake, or really I guess it's more of a delta than more than anything. I did try this pond out some more off camera and just wasn't having much luck. That first night we got that eastern green and small buffalo, but outside of that it's been fairly dead for me. I missed my turn. Apparently, I gotta go back up and around. The navigating this area can be kind of a pain. Right. It seems like a lot of people are catching carp right now. Only good silver to be had in that. Yeah, hopefully I've got some region records earlier. I got water body records here last night. No trophies, but getting somewhere with it. Realistically, I'm kind of restricting myself right now. If I know if I go towards some of these other areas that you can only get to by boat, I'll be able to catch much better fish, but the boats here are so expensive that I want to kind of recoup some of my costs from travel and the new rod and everything before I start doing that. And get a really good idea of where the active spots really are. All right, so let's see. Got basically casting out here, and I found that with the carp rig here, it can be dragging the bottom and be okay, because I still caught quite a few buffalo with it dragging the bottom, but ideally I do want it to be a little bit off the bottom there. It's a real pain in the butt to find the exact depth. I want to keep this on a size. Yeah, I'll keep it on a size 14. One thing I did forget to do here, let me fix that. I forgot to change out the new hook that I got. Go and change what we got. Oops. Change this to the 2-aught. And let's go ahead and change the other one out to that size 1. Pick off this one. We're gonna catch some carp, we might as well go for the big ones. Or buffalo for that matter. The other thing I've actually had pretty frequently at this spot is grass carp. Pretty handy. Got some that was around 10 kilo. A lot of gibble carp too. So that there you can see the middle line is stuck on the bottom there because of the tapering of this stream kind of drags it into the more shallow area. Try bringing it down to just 3 meters flat. See if that. Go. Generally, I've been finding that this spot's more active during the daytime, so too much at night. Keep an eye on these in any case. I don't know what's going on with line 1 there. It's like mobbing back and forth, but it's not from a bite. It's hitting the bottom or not. And throw some more ground. But I do hear some muscle or some thunder in the distance, but I'm not seeing any lightning or anything. So hopefully we won't have a repeat of the brief internet outage that we ran into last night's stream. But so I'll be back on if it does. Hydrating up here. Strawberry kiwi flavored water. So here's another annoying reflection issue. The moon. That is blinding. Let's see, so I'm gonna try adjusting the depth on this a little bit since it is acting like it's bouncing on the bottom or something. But just a touch. And actually, I'm going to change these bloodworms back out to caddisfly while I'm thinking about it. Okay. Now we wait. I think I'm like 5,000 XP away from a level up, so if we can catch a single carp, pretty much, that'll do the trick. Not a gibble or crucian, but gotten quite a few wild carp in this spot, so I think that'll hold up. This reflection is making it really hard to see those floats. Yeah, it's definitely. I'll usually catch one or two little gibble carps or something at night, but not a lot. Now the bream, I think in the pond here, you can catch like the eastern bream and whatnot at nighttime, which is a bad option. Hopefully, start getting some of them buffalo on here soon. So I haven't caught a black buffalo, but I've caught several regular buffalo. Nothing big though. They've all been around 4 kilo or less. One of the bad parts about this river is that because it's so massive with so many areas that like, and as expensive as the boat is, you kind of need to know the active spots beforehand. Otherwise, you're going to be running around aimlessly for a long time trying to find fish. Either it has to be either very linear or compact, or it's very clear where spots are going to be active. This one is not one that you can easily just kind of roam and find spots. Honestly, one thing I wish they would do for this river and some of the others is give you like a boat that you can't fish from. Not even that it doesn't have rod holes, just doesn't let you get up and fish, but you can use it to boat around and just have it be like 1 silver per day deal. Something hit that line, but pulled it up too soon. I'm still interested in finding out whether or not telescopic is at all reasonable on the archipelago. Eventually, we'll do some streams from there and find out. It's like a gibble carp, probably. Yeah, gibble carp. Something on line 2, which that's our good line. Trying to get some big ones. That's the one it'll be on. For it to act like it's actually on the hook enough to set it. We may have missed whatever it was. I may have to bring that a little bit more shallow because I think the issue there is just kept knocking the bottom of the river there. Do that. I didn't set it too shallow here. Like I did. Yeah, it's especially bad on like the fixed line float. You can kind of just let it it's a little more forgiving with the depth. But if you're using the pop-ups or the carp hair, like it's got to be very precise. There's a lot of trial and error involved in finding. And I found that like it's not always consistent. So I was at this spot earlier today and I had a setting that was working perfectly. And then I left for a bit, came back, and that setting wasn't the same. So I don't know what the deal with that was. Not entirely consistent. Still a little too shallow. 3 meters was correct. Hopefully, I still haven't gotten a, I got, I think 3 different wild carps here earlier, but none of them were markers. So we can pull in a marker wild carp one. At some point I want to find sterlet and barbel out here, which would be fun. And eventually the Black Sea cutum, but those require fairly expensive bait. I don't know if we'll get to those this week or not. So we'll work on rebuilding my algae stores while we're waiting for some bites. Okay, got a nibble on 3. Nibble on 1 now as well. We've got probably another gibble. Yep, a little gibble carp. Nighttime, that's about all we're going to get. Maybe get lucky, get a crucian. This is another issue I've been having at this river is stuff will nibble for a long time here. Actually, I can set the hook. Yeah, especially like because the sturgeon like to be in such deep water, I think you pretty much have to use a slider rig, which I don't have any floats to use those yet, but the slider rig lets you set really deep lines. And you definitely have to target the smaller sturgeon fish, species. Where'd that thing go? There's something super light like this. It's kind of hard to get it on a hill. Yeah. I imagine going after smaller carp, or not carp, catfish on telescopic would be pretty easy though, because they're kind of just dead weight. They don't really fight, and telescopic is really good at things that are just weight. And just hook it and then walk backwards to drag it onto the shore. Skill-wise, we're less or just over half a point away from unlocking Cobra, so I'm hoping when I get that unlocked, I'll be able to basically be a poor man's spod to boost the bite rate of carp and whatnot. Got another chub here. Small one. Yeah, it's like I'm so far away from getting spot that it's like I don't know when I'll get to that, but the Cobra acts, as far as I can tell, kind of like Spod without having to use a rod. So I'm holding on to hope, since we unlocked that at 85% float fishing. I'm holding on to hope that it's useful. What I'm worried about is why it has skill point allotments. Like, what is that going to do for the Cobra? Just make it more accurate where you aim or something, maybe? The gibble here. Missed something on line 3. That's all right. Should go bite again in a second here. But that's definitely been my weakness at Bear and Amber Lake, is not having access to PPA or Spod. My bite rate just pales in comparison to those that do have those. Let's do another muscle ground bait out here, see if we can draw the buffalo in. This is still a little shallow. I'm going to set it a little bit deeper here. Nibble on 3. Another nice thing about telescopic compared to bottom fishing, especially when it comes to like carp and stuff, you don't use up nearly as much energy bringing the fish in. Gives you more energy for scooping baits and whatnot. Still acting like that's still too shallow. I'll bring whatever's biting line 3 and I'll adjust it again. I'll be a gibble carp again here. Yep. About all I'm going to be catching in this spot on the ultralight with this bait, but at least it's consistent. All right, let's try 3.3. Recast this once, it's gone off into the algae. There's an awkward splash there. Still acting like it's a little bit shallow, but it may be working. But if anybody has used the Cobras in here to verify their functionality, because I'm basically just going by the description skill thing, it seems like it's essentially a similar to the slingshot. It'll kind of fill up an entire line between where you aim and the shore. That's why I say it'll be kind of like having Spod Rod. I don't know if it's if it can use same ground baits or for something specific or what the case may be. Just desperately hoping that it's going to be my bite rate salvation when it comes to carp. I really don't want to go out of my way and farm ranks in bottom feeding to be able to use telescopic better. All right, so it's usually going to be, it's either going to be a gibble or a chub. What's it going to be? Acting like a gibble. Although sometimes I do get rudd here as well, which looks like that's what this is, yeah. I'm trying making this. See, what's weird is that it's not moving, so it's dragging the bottom, but the float is still not making it all the way to the surface. Strange. Got something hitting line 1 there. Small, whatever it is. Looks like it's another... I think that might be a tiny grass carp. Yep. So a half a kilo grass carp. Still not very active though. Got so spoiled by that spot on Ladoga Lake that's still crazy active bite rate. Sounds like the rain just got here. Some bites on both 1 and 3. Nope, missed that. Acted like it was probably a chub though. Be worried about it. Missed that one too. No, I mean it was okay earlier, but I think always just that I haven't been able to find where the active spots are. It's, which I'll at least give it that compared to like Bear Lake or Amber Lake, these are clearly not active spots, but I'm still able to catch stuff. So I'll give it that. Bear and Amber, it's all or nothing. You go to a spot that's not active, you're not catching anything. But I've been looking around and I just haven't found any recent posts on any of the discords for Tuba spots. I haven't gotten any positive confirmation on a truly active spot at all. Another nibble here, probably a gibble. No, it's like a little rudd. Yep. Fortunately, the rudd I've been getting here have been tiny. Fishing this a little bit closer to these rods. Hey, what's going on, Matt? Been a while. You been up to? All right, is that ready for hooking yet? No. But that's the other tricky part about like because this is on such a steep hill. If I pick the pole up too soon, I lose the fish. There's no recovering it. Wait till that thing's just fully underwater, I guess. I did have luck here earlier today with some buffalo and wild carp, so hopefully that'll pick up again. The biggest thing is this line 2. I just have not been able to get to the exact right depth. More nibbles here. It does sound like the rain's coming down pretty hard outside, but I'm not hearing any thunder, so we should be clear and don't have to worry about another disconnect. See though. swear the fish at this place love to play with their food, though. Some of these will sit there and nibble on it for like 5 minutes before I can actually set the hook. What we got? Looks like a perch. For the second time I've caught a perch in this spot. Boring fish to catch. Back to nibbling on one. Sometimes wonder if the hooks I'm using are too large, but everything else I've seen for rigs people go after all these on is on 2-aught, 1-aught, size 1 hooks, but these are just, seems like the fish struggle to get these ones. It's pretty bad. We probably don't even have 10 silver of fish in the net yet. Come on, the float was completely sideways. That is some, I'm getting some shenanigans going on here. There's no way that wasn't ready to set the hook yet. I'm gonna pack up and move to a different spot because this spot is doing nothing. Oh, nice, doing a little home reno. At least the foundation given out didn't do any major damage, it sounds like. Been playing any specific games in between fixing things up and working? You know, Starfield comes out next week, and I have zero interest in it myself. At this point with Baldur's Gate 3, like I was looking forward to the release of Starfield just so it would shift Bethesda's focus to the next Elder Scrolls game, but Baldur's Gate 3 has set the bar so high for me on long development time games that I know Bethesda's not going to live up to it because it'll be like, oh, Elder Scrolls 6 will come out in 2026, and it'll just be a little bit better than Skyrim. Go back through Red Dead Redemption. Very nice. Diablo. I can't remember Baldur's Gate 3 enough. It's so good. Alright, so we'll try the spot over here where I did have some luck with big head carp the other day. See if we can have a repeat of that luck. This map is also deceptively big. All right, let's see what we can do here. Yeah, that's the thing is like, I just don't know if we'll get another great Bethesda game, but to me, Starfield in particular feels like they're out of their normal scope. I need to set that a lot deeper apparently. But I would highly recommend picking up Baldur's Gate. I think you'll really enjoy it. I do want to pick up and try some of the new stuff they added in No Man's Sky in the near future as well. I think I'm finally near the end of my first playthrough on Baldur's Gate. I'm about 90 hours in, and I've got a handful of quests left to wrap up. So I got about 15, 20 more hours on it. Shoot. I couldn't do a Baldur's Gate stream and keep it family friendly. That game's got a well, it's not a family friendly game. We'll just put it like that. All right, well, let's see if this is too deep board here. That's well. Yeah. What do we got? Looks like a base. All right. Something a little different. I might do a No Man's Sky stream when I pick it back up and try to do the new content for it. But yeah, Baldur's Gate 3, it is very, very mature. I'm surprised it got away with the mature ending, honestly. I guess because it does have the option to turn some of it off is the only way it avoided an adults only rating. Sounds like we got some lightning out there, lightning and thunder outside now, so if I do suddenly disconnect, this probably just means that I briefly lost power for a moment and need to wait for my router to restart. If that does happen like it did yesterday, I will be back in as soon as the router recovers. Hopefully it won't happen though. This is the part I'm really hating on Tuba is figuring out the depths. It is a real pain in the butt. I hate that this map is kind of utterly worthless for it. Gotta tell you, Canadian, so far I'm not a fan of Tuba. It doesn't seem friendly to the telescopic ways. Looks like we've got a chub on here a bit. Yep. Almost a kilo. Yeah, Ladoga was great. Although to be fair, like the bite rate at Ladoga was fantastic, but the profit really wasn't that great. It's great for XP and skill gain, but the bait compared to the average price of the fish was not a great ratio. I think the biggest problem here is that you have current plus just really random depths. You're trying to figure out what you need to have your float depth set at is just a total pain in the butt. Yeah, there's a Kessler's herring. Another different one than usual. You see, like this spot, there's the middle here is clearly like super deep, but then the shallow part, I have no idea what the depth of that is, or you can't really visually tell here where the cutoff is. So trying to find a working depth is just about impossible. There's no way that didn't. Man, I'm getting robbed on some of these bites. think there may be a nibble on line 2, possibly. Either that or it's just getting into a deep spot. I can't tell. This spot's no good. I don't even know where to, like, if I'm not using the carp pair or the pop-up rigs, it's not as bad, but if I'm going after carp or buffalo, it's kind of hard to do that without using those. Let's just go to one of these little spots here and I don't know where to go with this. I think Tuba just may be a bad place for telescopic all around. I might have better luck if I could read Russian, because as we have found with our weeklies left and right on this channel, the US region doesn't give a flip about telescopic fishing, so you can't find any information on it. If I could read Russian, I could probably find some spots. Go back to our original spot. At least we could catch a couple things there. But a great example of that, if I go to the records here, telescopic, a US region, like, I get non-marker tiny wild carp on the regional records at this place for telescopic. Like, US region just doesn't care. It's all about trolling and bottom fishing in the US. Speaking of when you were on your trip last week, Canadian, what kind of fishing were you doing up there? As far as type of fishing. Try this spot again. Wish I had just some semblance of an idea of what the actual depth here is. Yeah, I meant like we're doing like float fishing where you spin casting or whatnot. Noodling. I can't imagine noodling for east fish like that though. That sounds like a recipe for disaster. You're jigging? Alrighty. It's crazy enough that people noodle for giant flathead catfish. I can't imagine people noodling for a pike. Seems like a good way to lose a finger. Some more ground bait out here. Maybe getting a bite on one, or it could just be dragging on the bottom. Can't quite tell. I think it's just dragging the bottom. Something going after 3, but not. Might be ready to cook. Yeah, if I can't start finding some better spots here on Tuba, this may be the the last week I spend on this lake for telescopic. It's kind of miserable. All right, got something small. Like a little gibble carp, probably. Yep, 89-gram gibble carp. Jeez. I think the hook was bigger than the fish. Another perch, it looks like. Yep. This is just sad. I think I'd have more luck using a perking rig at Mosquito. It's weird. I was getting at least a decent bite rate on grass carp here earlier. Seems like those have dried up too. I'm just wondering if maybe I would have better luck switching down to like medium-sized hooks rather than large. Hard to say, hard to say. Ooh. Happy got a nice big 20-kilo grass carp there, the black carp. But that awarded some good XP. We finally have something okay on the line. Ooh, okay, okay. Here we go. It's like a big buffalo. Finally, we got something worthwhile. I can drag him up the hill here. All right. Level up. Got a float fishing game. A little over 9-kilo buffalo there. Not too bad from too far from a trophy. I don't think I'm stuck. Appreciate that. Well, that dirty buffalo. I think I'm stuck down here. Let me see if I can trick myself out with a cast and grab. Sometimes you can. Oop. Okay, well, I guess I'm gonna have to relog. Bested by the buffalo. Yeah, those spod rods, it makes a huge difference. I mean, I can't count the number of times I've gone to a spot where everyone was catching carp left and right. I went out there using the exact same setup as them, just without access to PGA or spod, and I couldn't get a single bite. It is a real game changer. Well, you know, you gotta take the good with the bad there. Anybody notice if that buffalo was any sort of a Tele record while I was logged off and didn't have access to the chat? That puts us, what, half a point away? Yep, 0.5% away from Cobra. I'm just, if Cobras work the way I think they do, it's going to really improve things, because it's not having spot just sucks. like I kind of feel like for as big of a difference as spod makes, 80% is probably a bit high for it. Like maybe something should have been at like 70 or 75%. And I'm still going to hold firm to my stance that the marker rod should just be a universal tool and not locked behind. Yeah, it definitely makes a world of difference. Oh, there it was. It was a weekly record for Tele. Just popped up. All right, now that we're back from that buffalo pulling me down to the bottom of the hill. Recast that so it's actually a little bit closer to shore. Be closer to shore. See, so here's what I was mentioning where like it seemed the depth seems inconsistent. Like before, this was acting like the setting was too deep. Now it's acting like it's too shallow for the same spot with no changes to the depth. It's weird. All right, so not a bad buffalo at all. I think the black carp is the same as grass carp as far as the trophy, which is what, like 24 kilo or something like that, I think. Not 100% certain on that, but I want to say it's somewhere in that ballpark. Which reminds me, we did get, oh, as soon as I pull this fish up, I'm going to allocate our level 29 skill points. Got some little fish on there. It's like another gibble. Got 26 with the trophy. Maybe it's I guess it's a little bit higher than I thought. Maybe the 24 was common carp. There's some carp that's around 24. There's so many species of carp on here though, it's hard to keep up. There's all the grass carp I was catching earlier. All right, so before I recast, I'm going to recast this one, but before I do, let's apply our level 29 skill points. Put one into carp hair rig and one into pop-up rig. Go. Which will help our second line out here. Yeah, Bears seems like it's been very active this past week. Especially for the grass carp. I was having some okay luck out there, but again, it's just not having access to, well, it's kind of 2 points of limitation. One, not having access to spot or PK, but then the other is for my telescopic lines, there's only a few spots that are really within reach of my telescopic rods. A lot of them out there are like 35, 40 meter clip, which is too far. Usually if the suggested clip for a spot is like 20 meter, I can get away with it on the telescopics. Even though they don't make it out 20 meters, they're close enough. Yep, EVA is coming right up for you. Got some bites on line one here. Come on, give me a grass carp. Or a wild carp, I'll take that too. For ultralight, we've got another gibble, probably. Yeah. Should be right now. And looks like it's probably a small gibble or something. Staying gibble carp, they go after your expensive big carp setups, acting like they're a big carp themselves. I'm gonna say the gibble carp are the perch of carp. Always there when you don't want them to be. We're at happy hour currently, so I'm hoping we can get this last 0.5% of float fishing to unlock the Cobra. I don't know how much the Cobra costs, though. I want to say it's fairly expensive. Got some bites on line 1 and 3 here. Oh, you're letting him get away, Canadian? What are you thinking there? You gotta catch and release, not just release. Oh, that was totally down far enough to set. Come on, man. Look at you with an ultralight weekly there. Yeah, congrats on that, Cappy. I've been definitely slacking on the level XP. For getting those carp, that certainly helps. Yeah, I feel like there's definitely an overall balance disparity between the fishing types in the game. Like trolling is kind of in the middle of everything. It's great when it's working and mediocre when it's not. But bottom fishing, like it definitely has a huge advantage. The problem is that you have to really grind out the levels to get there. And then you've got float fishing, which is just kind of not good for XP or silver, but it's fun. Like, I feel like they could probably make the high-end telescopic rods half the price that they are, because it just takes so long to make back the cost on telescopic fishing. Good, we're up to 26 fish caught. That's pretty bad, given we've been at it for an hour now, and most of them are not even markers. Ugh. We'll give it a little bit longer here, and then we'll go get ready to throw all these fish at the fish market and take a look at the Cobra cost to get an idea of how much I need to be saving up for. But if I can't crack the code out here, we may be back at Ladoga Lake before too long. see what do we got as far as we've got the archipelago. It's there. Then Tunguska is going to be that. This should be a really good one once I unlock it at 30. I think it's a little more linear and straightforward of a map, unlike this labyrinth of a map. Go. Another perch. You trolling out here, Canadian? You catching some Kessler herrings there. Yep. Good old trolling. The easier way to make use of this map. This is telescopic hard mode. As far as my skill points, I'm going to stick with my plan to level 30 is going to go to repair and pop-up rig here. And I'll probably use level 31 to max out slider rigs. So when I want to do some deeper fishing with my telescopics, I'll have a good rig for that. Because with the regular rigs, you can only go to 5-meter depth, but I think you can go to like 15 or something crazy like that with slider rig. Come on. Go all the way, fish, so I can set that hook. Go. Oh, look at that. I think I got a little buffalo on my ultralight. Yeah. Look at that. Almost 2-kilo buffalo on my ultralight line. That'll most definitely be a weekly, if not a region or water body record. Which, that's a weird combo of bait for that to go for as well. I'm sitting here with all the different baits that the buffalo love to go after, and it goes after the mayfly. Come on. Guess I should count my blessings that it wasn't a large buffalo. Would have snapped the line right away. Got some nibbles on line 1 here. Fish really love playing with their food. Yep, that buffalo was a region record. Here's a grass carp. Looks like it's probably about a 3 or 4 kilo. Actually, it's almost 7 kilo. Not bad. I could look and see how much of a region record that was. If it was a top placing one. US region, ultralight, Buffalo. Yeah, third place, not terrible. So are you trolling out in the wider part, the main part of the river, or are you in the little delta on the inner part of it? Another nibble on one, it looks like. The super deep part of the river. I definitely can't reach that with my tele rods. Something like that's probably where I imagine you get one of the short telescopic rods and just fish from the boat and try to get like a sturgeon or something like that on the wider rig. One day I'll get there. I just need like 40,000 more silver to get to that point. Telescopic is quite pricey. I mean, granted, you're getting the max capacity you can get, so you're capping out on telescopic rods at like 8,500 silver, but at the same time, that's just to get something you can get for like 3,000 silver on a bottom setup. What we got? Skibble carp. That's a little nighttime rud. Okay. I did try fishing up in this area earlier. I caught like one small sitchel, didn't get much else. Ooh, okay, here we go. Oh boy, we may have a big fish on the line now. Ooh-wee. Looks like a big old grass carp. Pull him up the hill so I don't get stuck down there again. Reach it with the net, maybe. There we go. A little under 10 kilo. Felt like it was going to be bigger than that. It was a weekly though. Those grass carp, for their size, they definitely put up a fight. I wonder if they plan on adding the ability to chum the water for the Norwegian sea map at some point. we've got spot and cobra and slingshot baits and stuff like that for everything else. You got to figure at some point they'll add water chumming to deep sea. Well, not much action on the pop-up rig for I've got set up specifically for buffalo. So if you're on the boat, does this map support drifting through the little inner part, or does the current not quite work for that? It does? Very nice. I'm really curious if you can put the Saberlino rigs on a telescopic and just kind of roll with the telescopic that way. If I can, let's see, go to one of these, use this. I mean, it's showing up in the list of options, so I assume that means you can do it with the telescopic? Maybe? Oh no, because match rigs I know I've already got unlocked. I don't know. Don't know. That would be the true master combo with telescopic is telescopic trolling. Got another bite on line one. Let's hope for another big grass carp. Yep. No, it's not very big, whatever it is. Looks like, oh, I think it's a wild carp. Yeah, almost 2.5 kilo wild carp. At least the carp are picking up in this spot now. Stupid reflection of the moonlight. Right on my second float. I'm going to just reposition it a little bit here. Cappy, man, you're bringing those carp in left and right out there. I think I'm definitely going to have to dedicate another happy hour over at Ladoga Lake so I can get that last little bit of skill gain I need to unlock the Cobras. Hey, that wild carp was another water body record. Take a look at that. Telescopic, US, wild. All right, I've got number 4 and number 5. Yeah, it really goes to show how easy it is to get water body and region records for the U.S. region with telescopic fishing. It's a telltale sign of how much this region cares about telescopic fishing, which to me is a good signifier that maybe the devs should examine the costs associated with telescopic fishing, because I don't think the profit, like the most players are here for profit and XP progress and getting trophies and everything. So telescopic just isn't going to do it. It's definitely something you're doing because you enjoy doing it. It's compared to the other fishing forms, it is inferior in ways of progress and completely. And I think that could be alleviated somewhat if it wasn't so expensive to get into. But when you're talking needing 3,500 plus silver for one rod, it's crazy. That's right. Us floaters, we have to stick together. There's not enough of us. Up a little bit too soon. So Canadian's not much of a floater. He's done a few videos on it, but lately he's been a deep sea, and right now he's doing some trolling. I'm good. How about yourself? No, in game in Canadian's channel, we've got Left for Mush and Fish is Good are the other two big telescopic floaters besides me. Usually we'll all kind of find an active area and fill up the telescopic and ultralight weeklies for it. Still going after that golden tinge trophy? They're tricky. I've always found cheese to be a good way to lure attention. Apparently, Bear Lake is hopping right now, though. People are catching a lot of carp out there. Happy got a 20-kilo black carp earlier. Let's see. I'm going to try to pull this fish in. By recasting everything, get everything shifted to the right a little bit. Like a rud. All right, let's try these again. You know, the controlled casting is actually, usually it's kind of pointless for the other rod types, but for telescopic, it's actually kind of useful for when you do like a more gentle toss like this. Like right now, I want to get this to like 20% cast. Without the controlled casting, it fills up too fast to really hit that accurately. Okay, nibble on one. I'm going to have to readjust two in a second here. Come on, take the whole thing down. Go. Another grass carp. Where'd it go? It is. The grass carp was hidden in the grass, believe it or not. Yeah, it seems like the fish out there have been really going after. They got a sweet tooth lately because I've been noticing a lot of the sweet bait options have been very active out there. Do you have a spot unlocked for it? I appreciate that. Yeah, I got sandwich. I'm 0.5% away from unlocking Cobra right now, which I am really, really hoping is going to be my viable alternative to spod rod, since I really don't want to grind out bottom rod just for it. Oh, you got PVA? Well, that's good too. That's what we've been discussing, is like the difference of not having spot and PVA versus having it is just night and day. Yeah, what do we got? Looks like another red. Where? Yep. Oh wait, I ran out of mayflies. Okay. Bark beetle larva it is. I'm gonna make this a little bit deeper, I guess. Need a Canadian to take his boat he's trolling on and go right across this little section with some spod for me. If only you could co-op like that. I feel like that's what's missing. It's why I'm so I was so let down by. I still haven't played Call of the Wild: The Angler yet. I have it, but I've heard so much negativity about it, and it's a shame because I was really hoping to see that like multiplayer cooperative action that like you can get out of the Call of the Wild Hunter game. Like just like I just mentioned, of having one player go by with a spot while the other's fishing a spot would be awesome to be able to make that work in the game. It's that one. Of course, usually what would end up happening, I would co-op Call of the Wild the Hunter with my friends, is somehow they would spook a herd of elk towards me and I'd get killed by elk stampeding through me. Just again. It should be a little bit tricky right now. There we go. Now I got you. Looks like a good. Well, we got one decent buffalo at least, and we got our ultralight regional buffalo in here somewhere. Here's this little tiny guy. Ooh, got some fancy emojis going on there. Nice. I'll throw out the old Carpzilla response. There we go. I'll be the artwork for my channel, the all the emojis and the coins and all that stuff, my profile picture, all those are made by me. You know, they're not the greatest. I'm not a skilled artist, but I have fun making them. Come on, give me a big grass carp. That's not big, whatever it is. Looks like a gibble carp. Hey, gibble carp. You get so excited, and then you pull it up, and it's just a dang gibble. I don't even think they deserve the carp moniker. Weird. You see the float in the water. Don't be another gibble carp. But of course. Big gibble. All right, line one, give me another big grass carp. Or a wild carp. I wouldn't mind finally getting a marker wild carp. It's sad that I've got 2 region record wild carp and I haven't caught one that's a marker yet. Boy, someone got a weekly record albino catfish out here. A little under 1.5 kilo. It must be very rare, I'm assuming. Tiny Rudd. Whatever's going after line one has just been nibbling for a while there, hasn't it? Wasn't ready. Well, try your patience out here for sure. Come on. Bite hard enough to sit. There we go. Chub? Really? Come on now. I think that most of my profit tonight is going to come from just the buffalo and the grass carp. Just 2 fish. Break even. Everything else is trash. I'm not getting any. So I'm thinking that 2-watt hook is in fact too big because got what 1 fish on that the whole night. Another gibble carp. Come on. At least it was over 1 kilo. I'm going to take one of my spare telescopics and just sharpen the end down, turn it into a spear. These fish keep nibbling this long. Come on. There we go. Fine. All that nibbling for a gibble. Of course. Of course. For all these gibble carp, there better be a cafe order for them. So, other news. Danny, you know of any other movies coming out this year now that Dune Part 2 has been moved back to like March or wherever now? I can't think of any. Not sure that that's on enough to set yet. That is, though. The red. Duck quacking behind us somewhere. Just nibbling away there at line one. There we go. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. And another small gibble here. I think the duck's scaring all my fish away. That's what's going on, right? Are we allowed to blame the duck? All right, catch one more fish, we'll be at 45. I think we'll go cash them in. Our handful of coins for the day. All right, here we go. Final fish is, oh, we might be able to catch one bonus fish here in a second. And another tiny buffalo on the ultralight. Be a good time to be wrapping up anyways, because the thunder's picking up outside, so I don't want to get disconnected again. And to relog to fast travel and see what we made for the evening. That was about an hour and 45 minutes, give or take. May not even be over 100 silver. Let's check the cafe first and foremost. Nope, not a single thing we can turn in. All right. See if I can find a good Citral spot, like that would be great. Really good, and getting Citral that size should be easy. Not found a good one yet. All right, I'm gonna guess I've got 117 silver. Anyone else got a guess for this? 135 from Canadian. Not even 100. Almost 2 hours, not even 100 silver. That is pathetic. And most of it's probably, yeah, we got the one buffalo's 23 silver, the one grass carp, that one's 13. We have like a 9-kilo grass carp in here somewhere. Yeah, okay, that one was 19 as well. That is terrible. Well, at least we got 2 gold fishing games out of it, I guess. Hey, that tiny buffalo is another ultralight weekly. I guess that's something. What? Get our end of stream scoop in. We get all 3 for good luck. Wow, that sums it up right there. I got a failed scoop to cap it all. But we did get a water body and a couple regional records, so I guess that counts for something. But I'm going to continue doing some off-camera scouting of spots on here. If I can't find some spots to make telescopic fishing worth it right here, I mean, it could just be that this lake's dead for telescopic currently, but so we can come back another time. But if I can't find something, then I'll probably switch back to Ladoga or somewhere else for the rest of this week. But if I can find something that's at least decent, then we'll stick it out here. But with that said, we'll go ahead and wrap things up. I hope everyone has some good fishing and a good night and a good day for those of you over in Europe. And I will catch you all next time. Take it easy, folks.